In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to mentally set yourself up to achieve everything you ever wanted. Indeed, how to become unstoppable. It all starts in your mind. At the end of this presentation, I will guarantee you that your life will never be the same again. Like the eagle, the national bird of America, you will soar to heights unimaginable before. Let's get started. What do great men and women have to say on greatness? Let's take three of them. Michelangelo. The greater danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss, but that it is too low and we reach it. Never you set too low a goal. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th president of the US and the first president to win the Medal of Honor, had this to say: far better it is to do mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much, because they live in the great twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat. It behooves every man to remember that the work of the critic is of altogether secondary importance, and that in the end, progress is achieved by the man who does things. Marianne Williamson said, and I love this very, very much, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not such. Take two. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. The greatest discovery of the second half of the 21st century is that man is the architect of his destiny. This is not my own quotation, this quotation by Viktor Frankl. The German psychologist who was incarcerated in very, very inhuman conditions in the German concentration camp, well, not German, the Nazi concentration camp during the Second World War. He lost his mother, lost his father, lost his wife, lost his sister. In fact, he lost everything. Somehow, he purposed in his heart that he will not die, that he will live to tell the world the atrocities the Nazis committed in the concentration camps. Before we get to what he discovered, let us look at what the theory before this time was, the Pavlovian theory, which has to do with the Polish biologist that was working with dogs. This theory just assumes that human beings are automatons, so to say, because for every stimulus, there's a response. That was the understanding before Frankl's great discovery. Let's look at what Frankl had to say. Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there's a space. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. And this space, he calls the freedom to choose. So humans, we, me and you, can actually choose how we respond to our environment. We can either surrender or prevail. That is why we say man is the architect of his destiny, because of that freedom to choose. So now that you know, let's proceed. Let's look at the 7 pillars for becoming unstoppable, the 7 traits that you must exhibit. Here you can see them right there on the screen. Unreason, to be unreasonable. Focus, faith, fire, be proactive, execute, and learn. If you allow these 3 traits, these 7 pillars, you master them and project them, use them, you can accomplish mighty things and become totally unstoppable. The first pillar for becoming unstoppable is to be unreasonable. Do not just accept things on their face value. Challenge, dig deeper. Why is that so? Are you 100% sure? Be unreasonable, like Nicholas Copernicus, a Polish astronomer. His thesis on the revolution of the celestial spheres revolutionized our understanding of the cosmos. Before him, the conventional wisdom was that the earth was the center of the universe and the sun even revolves around it. Today we know better. Today we know that the sun is the center of the universe, the way we know it, and the moon rotates around the earth while the earth revolves around the sun. So that's why Josh Bernard Shaw would say, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Be unreasonable, challenge assumptions, and what you may find will astound you and you'll become unstoppable. One of the great pillars of being unstoppable is developing focus. Focus has to do with the laser-like ability to zero in single-mindedly on what you wish to achieve. And the person that has exhibited this powerful trait so much is no other person than Bill Gates, one of the richest persons on earth today. Of course, we all know Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft. Immediately, he came to understand the profound effect that the computer will have in our lives. He's zeroed in single-mindedly and spent countless hours trying to develop software codes that will enable him stake his claim in this powerful estate. And of course, as they say, the rest is history. He was single-minded, he was focused, and within a few short years, his software became the standard, more or less. For every 10 computers you see, at least 9 will be running on softwares developed by this man. He had focus. That is why today he is unstoppable. Let's proceed to look at the third pillar, which is faith. No other person has exhibited this trait more than the person they leave Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple Computer. Faith has to do with a belief system, exhibiting self-confidence, belief in yourself, no matter what others say. If you know the history of Apple, the company he co-founded, a lot of people did not believe in him, in his vision for Apple. His entire purpose, vision, was always to leave a dent in the universe. Everything, every product, anything that comes out of Apple, according to Steve Jobs' philosophy, must be insanely great. And of course, a lot of people did not believe in this, and in fact, he was sacked from the company he co-founded. But somehow, he staged a glorious comeback, and today, you know where Apple is. With $484 billion in market capitalization, is the most valuable company on earth today. He exhibited faith in his vision. He did not waver. The number 4 trait that we need to exhibit is fire. Fire. No other person in the whole of human history has exhibited the trait of fire more than Martin Luther King Jr. Fire refers to passion, drive, courage. Do you have those? He had it in abundance. Martin Luther King had it in abundance, and he was he never wavered, no matter the fear, the threat against his life. We all can relate to his dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. We can all relate to that speech, I have a dream. Today, we say the dream has been realized. He had fire, that's passion. You must be passionate about what you want and go out single-mindedly, no matter what others say, to ensure you achieve. That is how you become unstoppable. Let's move on. When I show the picture of this man on the screen, most of the time, people don't recognize him. But there you are, one of the greatest statesmen of the modern era, the architect of modern Singapore. In one generation, he transformed Singapore from more or less a forgotten island in the South China Sea into a modern state. He didn't look at his limitations. He did not look at the hopelessness of the Singapore situation. Lee Kuan Yew, the founding prime minister of Singapore. We know where Singapore is today. We know where Singapore is today in terms of development. In fact, Singapore has catapulted from being a third world country to being one of those recognized as being in the first world. Be proactive. Be proactive. Do not mind the limitations of your situation. Look at your circle of influence and see what you can do. Let us now look at the 6th trait one needs to exhibit to become unstoppable. Execute. Our example in this regard is no other than J.F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. With the immortal words, ask not what your country can do for you, as what you can do for your country. He galvanized America. He restored hope. He made America feel proud of itself. And he went ahead to promise to put an American on the moon and bring him back before the decade of the 60s was over. He was willing to pay any price, bear any burden, oppose any foe, and support any friend to ensure the survival of democracy and liberty. He executed. When he promised that he would put an American on the moon and bring back safely to Earth, America did not have a functional rocket. However, by 1969, Neil Armstrong had landed on the moon and made the immortal words: a small step for man, a giant step for mankind. Jeff Kennedy executed. You must also execute if you want to become unstoppable. The seventh and final trait is learn. Never stand still, because if you do, you will be run over. Learn means that you have to continually reinvent yourself. Never, never, never you stop learning. You must unlearn what does not work. Relearn new skills. That is the only way you can become unstoppable. If you stop learning, sorry, you have given up. So with those 7 traits, I am sure you become unstoppable. But let's push on and see what other things we need to do on our journey to becoming unstoppable. I have a question for you. My question is, what is that one thing that stands between you and your dream? That if you could surmount it, what is that mountain? That if you could surmount it, you could achieve your dream. You know what? Most people sell their dream. Maybe you've always had the dream of setting up your global company, and then your company offers you a promotion. You set it aside. And next time you want to step out, they offer you another promotion. And again, you set aside your dream. My friend, promise yourself that your dream is not for sale. Your dream is not for sale. Always remember that. It's the only way you can become unstoppable. If you sell your dream, then sorry. Challenge yourself with the one question. Always challenge yourself with the one question. What is that one question? Actually, this question, according to legends, and it actually happened, was asked by Steve Jobs to John Sculley, who later became the CEO of Apple. It is said that when Steve Jobs was trying to convince John Sculley to leave PepsiCo and become the CEO of Apple, he flatly refused. Until one day, Steve Jobs asked the immortal question, when will you stop selling sugared water and come join me, change the world? That immortal question changed John Sculley's destiny, and he joined Apple. And as they say, the rest is history. Don't ever you forget the one question: when will you stop selling sugared water and start constructing your roadmap to changing the world. This you must answer. Understanding the three levels of change, knowing that knowledge is not enough. Knowledge must lead to change of attitude. And attitude must eventually change or lead to change of behavior. If you don't have all the knowledge in the world and do not change your behavior and start doing things differently, I'm sorry. So having knowledge influences your attitude impacts on your behavior, and then you change. You become unstoppable. Are you ready? Who is unstoppable? Who is unstoppable? The unstoppable impacts the world. The unstoppable is resolute. The unstoppable is focused. The unstoppable is determined. The unstoppable follows the straight and narrow. The unstoppable accepts nothing but the best. On the pursuit of excellence, the unstoppable neither retreats nor surrender. The unstoppable impacts the world. You might not really be able to impact the whole world, but you can impact the small corner of your own world. Are you ready? You are invited. Opportunities, as they say, is like music. It's all in the air. Everybody can have as much as he wants. Your having doesn't prevent me from having. Seize opportunities. Seize opportunities. Opportunities will never fall in your laps. You must go out there and seize them. Let me give you two examples of people that seized opportunities. You might know John H. Johnson Jr. as the founder of Ebony magazine, but you might not know his story. He tells a passionate story in his book, in his autobiography, Winning Against the Odds. He had bow legs. He stammered. And he came from a very poor background. In fact, as he said in his autobiography, it's not funny to be poor. Indeed, it is not funny when you are the poorest of the poor. But those facts never kept him down. He kept dreaming. He kept pushing himself. He kept pushing himself. And at the time, he left college. By the time he left college, he was his class valedictorian. And by the time he died, he was one of the 400 richest men on earth. You think you are poor? Consider the odds that stood against John H. Johnson. He won against the odds. Let's summarize with no other person than one of the people that has impacted our modern world so fundamentally. He always had the dream of leaving a dent on the universe. And of course, that's why you can see the partly beaten apple as the Apple's logo. I encourage you to look up and view the video and instead talk How to live before you die. How to live before you die by Steve Jobs at http://www.com/talks, as you can see on the screen. Please, How to Live Before You Die is highly recommended. Go out there and become unstoppable. Thank you. I hope I've been able to leave a small grain of courage in you, which I believe, if you follow the steps we have enunciated here, you'll become unstoppable.